Hello and welcome to Route 4 of the Across London Visual Marathon. We're going to go from Canary Wharf all the way down to Limehouse. And this is a fantastic route. It goes from the steel and glass structures that used to be the West India docks. And we're on the middle dock, as you can see now, so some of it has been kept. And we're going all the way to Limehouse, where you can see where the canal network first started. I'm Philip Carey from stridingcities.com, and I will be showing you the route from the runner's point of view, as well as giving you an audio guide of what you can see along the route, the sights and maps where you can come back, find places to eat and drink when you return at your leisure.
And this is the fourth route in the East London collection that explores all the historical dock locations that stretch towards the City of London. The route starts at Canary Wharf Underground Station, then goes along Middle Dock, up into Cabot Square and Westferry, then along the river, up Ropemakers Park, and then finishing off at Limehouse DLR Station. We start on Montgomery Square with Canary Wharf Station in front of us. And this used to be on the water of Middle Dock, which used to stretch all the way to the building at the far end. And we're going to cross over Upper Bank Street and head into Jubilee Place Gardens. And this was opened in 2002 to mark the Golden Jubilee of Queen Elizabeth II. The park was designed as a green retreat to Canary Wharf's dense towers, so it has soft curves, intimate scale, and it is designed to deliberately contrast with the surrounding steel and glass architecture. And coming up on our left hand side is the entrance down to Jubilee Place, which will take you to one of the 5 shopping centres that stretch all around Canary Wharf, and together create one of the largest concentrations of retail floor space in London. And they're all connected by covered walkways and underground passages, with plenty of places to eat and drink, things to do, and the shops are broadly upmarket to reflect the affluent workers and residents. The park actually sits on top of the roof structure, so it's made with lightweight polystyrene mounds to create the varied topography of this park, and it has more than 200 dawn wedgwood trees planted in irrigated containers with this lovely raised serpentine water feature and plenty of art installations. This will guide us towards the exit, which will take you to one of the first areas that were developed in Docklands in the 1990s, with the iconic One Canada Square Tower in front of us, Middle Dock to our left, and the Jubilee Underground Station to our right. And we're going to turn left to get some great views of Middle Dock and take a look at the new Eden Dock project. This was designed to replace the hard-edged and largely inaccessible area of Middle Dock, and was opened in 2024, and introduces a floating interconnected pontoon, aquatic islands, a water garden with an artwork called Natural Rising with 20 human figures sculptured from the shrubs, as well as a stepped amphitheatre which gives you great views across the water. And Middle Dock will also have a designated open water swimming area, which signifies a change into the whole look and feel of Canary Wharf, especially here along Middle Dock, or the export dock as it was historically called. There are plenty of places to eat and drink in both the shopping centre and all around these new public areas. And there are plenty of other areas around Canary Wharf to visit and interact with, especially around Wood Wharf, Canada Square and Crossrail Place, as well as theatres, sporting activities, special events and the Winter Light illumination festivals. To our left is the Key Club, an offshoot of the Arts Club in Mayfair, one of the oldest private members' clubs, and ahead is the new residential area with Newfoundland Tower dominating the skyline. As we turn the corner, we're going to leave Middle Dock and head up towards Cabot Square, which was completed in the early 1990s and was named after John Cabot, the Venetian-born explorer who sailed from Bristol to reach North America in 1497 under English commission. And if we were to go straight ahead, it would take us to the North Dock, which was the original import dock of the West India complex. And to the right we have the shopping centre with the iconic One Canada Square. But we're going to turn left and go down West India Avenue. And if we look at this map of 1890, we can see that this avenue would have sat between the old import dock of the West India Dock Complex, which we now call the North Dock, which is on our right hand side, and the old export or Middle Dock, which we saw earlier on the left hand side. The old import dock was initially built to store the primary products coming from the West Indies, such as rum, sugar and coffee, and they were stored in special warehouses that were very closely controlled to stop theft and to collect taxes. And you can visit one of these warehouses to learn more about how this whole dock area is run, as it is the home of the London Dockland Museum, and well worth a visit. The export dock, or middle dock, was a purpose built for ships that had unloaded their West Indian cargo in the import dock and needed to load goods for their return journey, and was designed so that vessels could complete the full cycle, unload, import, refit and reload in the same enclosed safe system in an efficient way without the risk of theft. And if we have a look at this overlay map, quite a few of the original Dockland areas have been filled in during its redevelopment, and one of these is here at Westferry Circus, which used to be the original Limehouse Basin, but today is a lovely square with some great views and a pleasant central garden. Up until the 1980s, Limehouse Basin referred to this area, which was the western entrance lock and basin for the whole West India dock. And it was used by small boats and lighters, and these were used to bring export goods into the docks, move imported goods to wharfs downstream towards London, or to lighten the loads of the large cargo ships in the import docks. And lighters were large flat-bottom barges around 80 feet long that could carry cargoes up to 600 tons. Initially there was no self-propulsion on this, so they were either moved on the tides by using long oars called sweeps, piloted by highly skilled boatmen called lightermen, and later on by steam tugs. And to be a lighterman was a highly skilled and was regulated by the Watermen's and Lighterman Company, which was a livery company formed in 1555 and involved a 7-year apprenticeship beginning at the age of 14. And as we go around, we're going to look for a staircase to our left, which will take us down to the water side. And just on the left-hand side, you'll see Canary Wharf Pier, which provides a high-speed route down to central London or east towards Woolwich in the O2. But you can also get a ferry across to Rotherhithe, which is on the other side of the water, 10 minutes away, which is a great place to visit and originally had its own dock complex called Surrey Commercial Docks, which specialised predominantly in timber. And in the distance we can see the City of London, which is where we're heading. And Canary Wharf and the City of London are two pillars of British finance, but they differ in character, culture and history. The City of London is obviously the oldest, and its financial institutions include the Bank of England and Lloyd's of London, both of which are centuries old, and it's very densely packed, full of atmosphere with ancient churches nestling between a few modern glass towers. Canary Wharf, by contrast, is a planned estate built on a blank canvas of the docks, with wide boulevards, consistent architecture, but with a more corporate or campus-like feel. And their similarity and differences complement each other and define London's position as a global financial centre. The area we are now in was historically rich in shipbuilding and supported a lot of industries, as you can see from this map. And the transformation to what we see today can be attributed to some degree by the Limehouse Link Tunnel, which officially opened in 1993 and is a 1.1 mile underground route that connects the highway to the east towards the City of London to Canary Wharf. However, it was a very complex tunnel structure, and the project had to sweep away much of the Docklands' history, not only the industries but also household communities that had lived here since the docks were formed. And the final cost was around 293 million, which makes it the most expensive road scheme per mile ever built in Britain, due to the extraordinary and complex ground conditions and the dense existing infrastructure. And the bridge beyond this new Dundee Wharf residential building goes across to Lime Kiln Dock, which is a small historic inlet that was primarily used to heat up chalk in lime kilns to produce quicklime for building mortar, which was an essential binding element for London's expanding medieval and Tudor constructions, and its earliest records date back to 1335. This route will take us on to Narrow Street, where we're going to turn left, and this area behind the wharves was where many of the dockers and shipbuilders lived. And it was quite a cosmopolitan area with communities from the West Indies, Asia, Scandinavia and China. And the historic Chinatown was very close by here. As we go down Narrow Street, we're going to veer off to the right into Ropemakers Field, which is a lovely park that will take you all the way down to what is now known as the modern-day Limehouse Basin. And this is one of the main dockside areas where rope and marine cable was made and stored. And rope making was one of the most physically demanding and space-hungry trades of the docks, and the production required open lanes stretching 1/4 of a mile with ropes being twisted over the entire length in a single operation. And workers called spinners walk backwards, feeding fibres of hemp or similar materials into a continuous spinning hook. And these ropes were routinely dressed in hot tar to waterproof them. And if we look again at this map, you will see that Ropemaker's field was in fact perpendicular to where we're walking, and was industrious rather than a field, sitting right next to a workhouse. And we can see from this modern map that this lovely green oasis with views over to Canary Wharf actually sits right above the Limehouse link tunnel. As we get to the end, the first thing we'll cross is the Limehouse Cut, which is the oldest canal in London, which dates back to the 1770s. And it's 2 miles long and connects the River Lee at Bromley by Bow, which is down near the Royal Docks, all the way to the River Thames via the Limehouse Basin. And it was constructed to allow barges to bypass the meandering and tidal-dependent Bow Creek, as well as avoiding the long journey around the Isle of Dogs. And as we cross the bridge, we're going to double back and follow the dock around the water's edge to where the Limehouse Cut enters what was originally known as the Regent's Canal Dock, and since the 1980s has been renamed the Limehouse Basin. This basin was constructed in 1820 as a vital commercial hub connecting the Regent's Canal to the River Thames, and it was principally used to transfer goods between the river barges and the ocean-going vessels, and vice versa. And during the height of the Industrial Revolution, this basin traded in coal, timber, grain and other commodities, making it one of the busiest inland waterways in the capital. But by the mid-20th century, commercial river traffic and containerisation largely made this basin redundant, and it fell into disuse. But today it is now a thriving residential and leisure marina, and home to about 90 permanent resident mooring boats, together with modern apartments, restaurants and cafes. And as we get to the end, we're going to turn left and go straight towards our endpoint at the Limehouse DLR Station. And the DLR viaduct actually dates from the 1840s, as it was built on the London and Blackwall Railway that was one of the first elevated railways in Britain. It went from the Minories by the Tower of London all the way to the East India Docks, and was designed by the legendary civil engineer Robert Stephenson, so that it did not obstruct the busy streets. And one of the most famous sections is here in Limehouse as it crosses the Regent's Canal. Stephenson had to design 3 massive but elegant 87-foot segments to straddle the canals around the Regent's Canal dock, one of which we can see as we cross the Regent's Canal. And the Regent's Canal was built in the 1820s and is named after the Prince Regent, the future George IV, and the canal heads north through Mile End, Islington, Camden Town and Regent's Park and joins the Grand Union Canal just beyond Paddington Station. And as we head up towards the end, it's interesting to reflect on the impact of transportation on the London docks, which were built mainly between 1802 and the early 1900s. The canal system across the UK was fully established by the 1820s to move goods around the countries. Trains were established around the docks by the 1840s onwards and significantly improved logistics to and from the docks. And then came the steamships in the mid to late 19th century, which increased the global network and trade but demanded larger docks, such as the Royal Victoria Dock. And then we had containerisation in the 50s and the 60s that effectively killed off the London docks operationally. So it's fitting that we end here next to the Limehouse DLR Station that provided driverless trains when it first opened in 1987 and is close by to the entrance of the Limehouse Link Tunnel. And this is a reminder of all the other routes in the East London collection that you can do on their own, together, or you can explore any of the other routes in the Across London Visual Marathon collection.
Hello and welcome to the end of Route 4 of the Across London Visual Marathon. We're at Limehouse, which is our end stop. And there's 3 things I just want to leave you with. The first one is please subscribe, because I want to be able to show you many more routes that I have all around London. And I also want to try to make this channel ad-free. The second thing is that when you decide to do this route for real, which I hope you do, use the links below, because you get all the information in one place. You get all the maps, GPX files, you get photo galleries with descriptions, and you get maps showing you places to eat and drink and of interest. Our purpose is to show you the places before you do up your laces and to have fun on a run in London. I hope to see you on the next one. Thank you.